Coming up on The Big Room.
Hearing everybody talk about these movies for 20 years, I thought Jack Sparrow was going to be this very well put together pirate.
Ooh!
Oh, wow.
And boy,
That's
is
hilarious.
he the opposite.
That's crazy.
I thought Jack Sparrow was who he thinks he is.
Well, and as the characters in the movie that don't directly know Jack Sparrow also think of Jack Sparrow. It's like
That's
Nick
true.
got
It's a legend.
canonized
It's a
You got
legend,
the
yeah.
reputation
Right.
of him. Yeah. That's hilarious.
It's really funny. Welcome back to the big room where we're going to drag Sword Month out as long as we possibly can.
Hey.
You watch Pirates of the Caribbean?
Sword Month.
What the hell?
Pirate R. What do you mean?
Sword.
Sword month.
Yeah.
It do be sword month.
it works
Sword Month.
perfectly. Thank you.
Yeah, so we watched the first Pirates movie. It's 21 years old this year, and that makes me feel like dust.
Old. Feels old.
But before we talk about that, we have the news, and there isn't any.
Oh, wah.
Yes, I couldn't be bothered. We did hit 100 subscribers on YouTube. That's kind of
That's news.
Yeah, that's
cool.
newsworthy.
We
Yay.
got an air horn. And Carl, you might be in the news, you said. And then,
I might be in the news.
And then didn't explain that at all, so go ahead.
Yeah, I left it pretty open-ended. So we had our art market last weekend on 420, Blaze It.
Hey.
There was this guy walking around with like a big camera, and he makes the rounds a few times, and then he comes to me and he's like, "Hey, do you want to be on camera?" And I was like, "Yes." He like wired me up, and like he put like the mic underneath me, and I felt like I was going like undercover to like rat on some mob boss, but like I had this thing on, and he was like, "Just be yourself," and I was like, "That'll be super easy to do with this camera in front of me." Like, I felt like Troy when he was like doing the thing during the documentary, but I was just like, all right. But so like I kind of talked to some people for a while because I was kind of doing. It was like a pretty busy market. I was doing pretty good, but hitting off with people. Felt like I was crushing it, and then as soon as he like got to me and he was like, all right, now just like introduce yourself and like kind of talk about your art, I was like, oh god. Like I've done this a million times, but for some reason looking at that mechanical like eye, I like didn't know what to do, and I like felt like I gave the most wooden
I'm Carl Egg, I make Craigs.
I mean, yeah, it's like I made different yolks for different folks. It's always cracked up to me. I was just like throwing
Every
puns out. I was
pun
just like,
you've
oh my
ever
god.
thought
I
of.
felt like an awkward like Mark Norman, but like not as like clever, and it was just like, oh man.
I'm gay.
So I don't know if it's gonna turn out well or not, but it's for this like local news station, and it's like I guess it's like kind of art. Like cover story or something, but he interviewed a few other people, but so I might be on the news. It's like local news, not a huge thing, but
I mean, local news for Nashville is bigger than local news here.
Yeah, it's pretty. I just wish I just regret having not come up with like a bit. Like I should have been like, oh hi, didn't see you there, and like really linked into how goofy it was, and like
Trying to go viral.
because I was like, I could have gone viral off of like a ridiculous like morning show
could have been like the
performance.
Turtle
that happens
Kid.
all the time. Yeah, it could have been like the. I just didn't ever think that would happen. So now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to like have something in my like back pocket ready to go, holstered, like in case like if this ever happens, and have like some quick like zingers or something. But I don't know. I'd like so it could be cool. I may link it to y'all later. He's gonna show me, and like if I hate it, it will never see the light of day.
No, it has to see the light of day.
Yeah. So pretty interesting experience though, overall.
No such thing as bad exposure, you know?
I mean,
That's what they say, yeah. I've already got like memes planned around like if it turns out okay or if it turns out terrible. I'm like, I know I've got like plans either way. So, but yeah, I'm just like, oh god, I just don't want to be like ugh, on camera and be all dumb. But we'll see what
I'm
happens.
sure you did great.
We'll see.
I think.
so Pirates. You're
First time.
So Pirates was originally pitched for Sword Month when Carl brought up Sword Month. And we were trying to think of themes.
and for some reason we didn't.
Well, we all he brought it up, and then I think Danielle and I went, everybody, we've all seen that. Let's not do it. And then it came up. We learned like the 30th is a Tuesday, so we needed an episode for it. So we're extending Sword Month really into the first week of May because of Phantom Menace. Spoilers. And you hadn't seen this.
Yep.
You hadn't seen Pirates. Which is crazy.
Which that's on you for assuming that I had seen a movie.
Well, you
It's
were
true.
you to be fair, were in that Discord channel and didn't say anything. So
I was probably working or something.
Oh,
I
he's
don't
being
know.
responsible. Lame.
whatever. So we watched this because of Nick, because obviously I've seen it
First watch.
for a million years. You've probably seen this movie
I've seen it a lot
a
of
million
times.
times. And Carl, I assume you've
Many
seen
a
it a bunch
time.
too.
Oh yeah.
Did you see it in theaters?
I think so, yeah.
I was a little too young.
I think it was a whole family outing.
I was 8 years old when this movie came out.
Actually,
I was 7, ready to turn 8.
Ooh.
God, I think I was
10?
12.
I was 10.
I remember.
You're not that.
2003?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 12.
Jesus. He's so old.
I know.
What do you
Oldie over
remember
here.
about this movie?
I
Because you
wasn't
like this movie a
allowed
lot.
to watch it for so long, and I remember being mad for many years. Like, it's not that. I think my parents were like, "It's too scary."
There's
And
ghosts.
there are ghosts, but I remember being mad. So I wasn't allowed to watch this until I was like 7th grade, so about 13, and then it just imprinted on my brain.
I think that's about when I saw it too,
Yeah.
but not
Did
for
you
like,
do something to prove to your parents that you were brave enough? Or were they just like, all right.
I think they just decided it was time. I was ready,
You've earned it.
You're ready
can
for the
handle it.
reality of ghosts
Yeah.
and ghouls.
and it came out.
the reality of
I
ghosts.
think ghosts are real.
There's
Maybe.
only one
We don't
ghost.
know. The Holy Ghost.
The Holy Ghost.
All right, that was it, everybody. See you next
No,
week.
I
And
first
podcast.
saw this when I think World's End was coming out.
That's the
It's-
third one.
That's the third one.
It's the one with the whirlpool.
Yes.
To be as vague as possible.
And so I remember watching this one, being obsessed with it, and then watching the second one, and then like finding, I think I forced my grandpa to take me to go see the third one, like the last week it was in theaters. I remember like every family member was like, someone take me to see this movie because I
Is this
have
Hat
to know
Grandma's
how it
husband?
ends.
Is this Rip in Peace,
No,
Grandpa?
this is Rip in Peace, Grandpa.
R.I.P.
So, but he took me to see it, knowing nothing about pirates. He was like, "Sure, grandchild, I'll take you to see this movie."
But knowing a lot
I just
about
wanna
being
yell
in
at
the
my grand-
Navy.
I mean, there's not a lot of Navy in the
There's boats.
third one. Yeah, I guess they're
there's-
boats.
Did he lose his mind when they
There's
were
naval
underwater
warfare
with a
going
boat
on.
over their head
Well,
breathing?
that was this movie, not the third one. That
Oh,
she
right, right,
first
right,
said.
right, right,
See,
right,
There's
right.
she told like a story that spanned some time,
Shut.
and you
Shut
didn't.
up.
You just ignored her the whole time.
No, I was listening.
Clearly,
Right here.
yeah.
I believe you.
He listens to stories about as well as he pays attention to movies. Now,
Oh,
so you hadn't seen this. Why? What the
I-
hell's the
I-
matter with you?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure if
Do you have any awareness?
I mean, I knew it was a movie. I've never really wanted to see it. I don't really have a reason.
Why?
I'm sure if I tried to watch it,
I
my
didn't
parents
have a
wouldn't have let
reason.
me. Maybe there was just a certain point where I was like, I'm not even going to try anymore.
But you've ridden the ride.
I have ridden the ride. I now want to re-ride
It's a good
the ride.
It's a good ride.
This might be what gets me back to
Now,
Disney because I want to ride it again.
I think we told you last episode that the movie's based on the ride, not the other way around.
That's crazy.
So much of
Right?
the ride, how much of the ride has
I
been
don't-
changed? I know is David Jones or Barbosa in the water curtain at the
well, so
beginning?
the water curtain's gone now.
What? I haven't been to Disney in like half a
So-
decade.
The biggest changes was just they added the Captain Jack animatronics
At
in,
the very end.
and then there's like a ending scene where he's in like a treasure room.
Yeah.
That was
singing
new.
the Yo-Ho song.
So yeah, for a while there was a Davy Jones like water curtain, and then when the fourth movie came out, it was Blackbeard for a bit, and now that's just gone.
Why?
I don't know. I think they also added a mermaid skeleton for the fourth movie,
Yeah.
but I think that may or may not have also been taken out.
So, but you've ridden the LA one,
I have.
which is the first one, yeah?
Yes, that is the first version of Pirates of the
And
Caribbean
it's
to
longer
exist.
and better.
Yes. So the whole, I wanted to say this last episode, but spoilies. That whole treasure cave where the Aztec gold is, that's in the ride in Disneyland.
Oh.
So that's why it makes a lot more sense because that's a huge set piece.
Yeah.
So the whole first part of the ride in Disneyland, you're going through like the treasure caves.
Oh, you start in the Tortuga
You
Cave.
actually start, so you know in the second movie they're in a bayou?
Yeah.
You start in a bayou and then you go down the first hill into the treasure caves. And then you go down another hill and then it's our ride.
Okay.
But it's like
Is the treasure cursed in the ride, or is that a movie thing only?
I think it's
I mean,
probably
it's-
a movie thing.
they don't
Okay.
narrate the ride.
Right.
So
You just look at stuff and
You just
smell
are
the
like,
cool water
"Ooh."
that smells cool.
Okay, all right.
Same amount of
I'm
drops.
not a big
in
Disney
the,
ride guy.
There's 2 drops.
no, there's
in
more
the-
drops.
There's
in
more
the-
drops.
Yeah,
in
there's
the one?
2.
I wouldn't like that.
It's fun.
Hot
Drops
take.
are fun.
I didn't think that ride had a like distinct smell.
That is actually just incorrect
It's-
because the water. So all the water in
I mean,
at
it's-
Disney smells a certain type of way because they got to put some in it that makes it evaporate literally.
There's
instantly.
like a burnt. Yeah, there's a water smell, and then there's like a fire smell
Almost
that
like
they
a-
pipe
What do you
in.
Almost
mean
like a
evaporate.
burnt hair, like in the Little Mermaid thing. It's not a ride. No, well, they have the Little Mermaid ride, then they have the show thing, right? Where you're like doing the Under the Sea show. I think it's in Epcot. Or
Oh, that's in Hollywood. Yeah.
Like you get misted a couple times, and you're like, I'm wet. I'm no longer wet. Like immediately.
Oh yeah, well like Mickey's Philharmonic, they throw pies at you, and then they throw pie smell at you. Disney loves piping smells in too.
Right. So like in the
Enhance
Pirates
your
ride
experience.
at the
Do you like
beginning,
float and follow it?
yeah, at the beginning of ours, there's that like big ship combat where the cannonballs are hitting the water, and they pipe in like gunpowder smell and all the water
That's wild.
Disney smells.
I mean,
Go again.
yeah, I'm gonna go back.
You have to
Gonna go
back.
right again.
Go hold hands.
David
with
will go with me.
Go
David
hold hands with
will go
David
with
and ride
you.
Pirates.
David's smiling so big right now.
We're losing.
Oh,
Baseball
I'm sorry.
team's losing. We're
Sorry,
up
babe.
4-1. Now we're losing 5-4.
no.
We suck. So, yeah, it's a movie's based on the ride. I don't know. That's
That's
all.
wild.
That's all the information.
It's just
I
crazy
have.
to me how you just take a ride and then it's like, all right, we're gonna write a whole story.
Same with Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they're cool concepts. To be fair, like
Yeah, there's a lot.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Like they're rebooting the movie. I guess there's gonna be a fifth or sixth one,
Sixth.
and it might be a reboot. Which good,
but
it's
without
called,
Johnny Depp.
that's how reboots work, and it's called Pirates of the Caribbean. So it's like we have an infinite amount of pirates we could do.
I just would want them to ground it. Like, don't try to one up it again. What?
Well, my thing we were talking about this last night. Well, yeah, it's how reboots work. When we were talking last night, I'm like, you know what these movies are missing? Piracy.
Actual piracy.
It's like there's not a lot of
Yeah.
pirate. Like we've got the pirate code, and you know there is ship combat and boarding and all that neat stuff, but like not a lot of piracy. So
Like they get too mystical. Like the fifth
Really
one
quick.
gets off the rails. Like so, I hope if they reboot it, they bring it back in a little bit more.
they probably will.
I hope so. I don't know how you
Then
can
again,
top.
it's Disney, so it'll probably be ass because they haven't made anything good in like
Yeah.
1,000 years.
Sad.
Sorry,
but we'll
Disney.
always have this one
And the 90s,
Yeah.
and the 90s.
Disney in the 90s was popping off.
It's popping.
Bambi.
That was in like the 30s.
Is Bambi really in the 30s?
Yes.
Really?
Pause. 30s or 40s. Snow White was 1937.
Bambi was 1942. So we're
Okay.
waging a war and we've got time to make Bambi?
They had to bring people's hopes. They had to brighten their spirits.
American history was like Pearl Harbor, Bambi. It's crazy.
Well, Bambi's pretty sad, so
Yeah, we need an uplifting story, Bambi.
Bambi, the mom dies.
Bambi's mom getting shot was our that was Bambi's
That
Pearl
was
Harbor.
Oh God. Oh man.
Oh,
Thumper's Roosevelt. I don't know how to make this work any more than I'm already in.
It's a metaphor.
Look it up. So
Look it up, Swords. Trust me, bro.
I'm sorry. Bambi is a Pearl Harbor. I just can't.
That's gotta be some Reddit post somewhere.
Well, you know, it's
somebody
like-
thought of this.
your mom getting shot is like the Pearl Harbor of family deaths.
That's
Kind of.
true. That's pretty bad.
Or 9/11. It's a national and personal tragedy.
Never forget.
oh man.
Gotta make friends with a rabbit. Maybe
Pirates.
Thumper's Churchill. I don't care. This is so stupid.
Anyway, pirates.
Pirates. 2003. Friggin' crazy how long ago that was.
July. Yeah. A lifetime.
10 years old.
What?
I was 10 years old.
Oh yeah, he was 48. Carl was because he's old as a mug. So this cast is really good. Keira Knightley.
I like Keira Knightley.
She has one.
I like
she
Keira
has one
Knightley.
expression.
Oh, I have a hot take about the cast.
She's got real pouty lips.
She's mewing the whole movie. That's all she does.
I don't think she ever like fully closes her mouth.
No.
But I'm not complaining.
She's just like that's Keira Knightley. She's like mewing to keep that jawline tight. 20 years before mewing was a thing.
Perfect hair out on the ocean for weeks.
Yeah.
They had to paint boobs on her. Those are all fake. It's just makeup. Fake
she doesn't-
boobs.
'cause
She doesn't have any
That's a
boobs.
little
have really any-
disappointing.
Yeah. But like, shout
Also-
out to the makeup artist because it looks real.
Yeah,
You
well
can't tell.
done.
Also, last night you said that the whole corset subplot is bullshit.
Yes. Well, I mean, movies apparently like love to make corsets out to be like horrible torture devices, but apparently they were comfortable. According to many a TikTok reenactor who wear corsets, they say that
They would know.
corsets were
I've never won
functional
one.
and not the worst thing in the world.
So
So,
I can't speak on it.
I'll put this to the
I
test.
still would like to not wear one. So
The last time we watched this movie was COVID. I think it was 2021.
yes,
Spring of 21 or so. So it's been 3 years since I've seen it, and that was the first time I'd seen it in a long time. I've only seen the movie 4 times, I think, and I've seen. Is Dead Man's Chest the second one?
Yes.
I've seen that once. I have not seen all of the third one. I've just
We
seen
need to
like the
watch
whirlwind scene and just been like, what?
What?
And I have seen the fourth one with the mermaids. That movie sucks.
The fourth one has the mermaids.
Is-
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth one has the mermaids.
I have
That
seen that
movie
one.
is bad.
That was a departure.
Yeah. Well, Will and Elizabeth aren't in it. It's just Jack. So they made it small, which is good. Refocus. But
That feels like more of like a spin-off than a.
also
Yeah.
the mermaids are horrifying in that movie.
It
Yeah,
would
they're
have worked
scary
better as like a
mermaids.
mini series or something, but it
Yeah.
just wasn't ready for that.
Whatever. So, yeah, Keira Knightley's mewing. She has one expression. That was a note. Costuming made a weird change. So weird choice. Her dad, who's like the governor with the wig. In the first scenes when they pick Will up as Driftwood, like at the very beginning, and they're kids, right? The dad's wig is black, and then 8 years later, he's got a gray wig. Why change the wig color? What's the
It's a
point?
status thing.
'Cause
I
he's
think it's
gotta
just to
get
imply
older.
time changing, but it did seem like a status thing too. Because the two
you
kind
have
of
a-
fumbling guards in the very beginning
But-
had white wigs at the end of the movie.
But why? Have
Oh, really?
Why have a black? Why?
And
why?
Orrington had a white one later on too. He
Yeah,
went
I think
from
it is like an
brown
elite,
to
like
gray.
I
So
mean,
he wasn't
the next
governor
level
at the
kind of
beginning
thing.
then?
He was, I think.
That's what I thought.
I think he gets called that, and then also gross because the admiral or the
I know,
love interest guy,
Commodore.
the Commodore.
he's like a full-grown
So
man.
many, yeah,
He's a
full
full
grown man.
ass. He's like 35, and then I love this little
He's
girl.
like, I'm gonna wait for you.
gross,
I'm in.
gross.
Yeah. Ew.
I didn't understand the part of the movie that went over my head was like, and Danielle explained it to me. But so we start, and Will has the pirate medallion, and then Elizabeth takes it. And my brain's going, why aren't they zombie people? Because they had a medallion too. But they weren't the original people to take the medallion out of the treasure
They didn't
chest.
directly take
Right.
it out.
That's how Danielle explained
That's
it.
what I think. Because I
That
mean,
makes sense.
and
Which
then
is why
everybody that
That
touched
has to be the reason, or
Yeah.
else it's a plot.
And like when at the end of the movie, when Jack like sleight of hands the medallion, that's why he's a dead guy because.
it. Take
But
it
there's also
from the
some
chip.
other things like, apparently they go like, oh, we can't feel the wind or hot or cold, and we can't eat, and everything turns to dust in our mouths, and blah blah blah. But yet they react to fire all the
Yeah.
time. They react to getting shot. They say ouch. So the rules seem kind of fast and loose for the curse.
there are more guidelines.
Yeah, they're more guidelines, just like the
Hey.
pirate code, apparently.
Yeah.
So that was kind of. It's not a
Yeah,
perfect
it's-
film.
Yeah.
It's not high piracy. It's more like a piracy opera.
Right.
Pirates of the Opera.
What really shocked me, hearing everybody talk about these movies for 20 years, I thought Jack Sparrow was going to be this very like well put together pirate,
Ooh,
Oh wow!
and boy
That's
is he the
hilarious.
opposite.
that's crazy.
I thought Jack Sparrow was who he thinks he is. Like to him,
Oh.
he's the Captain Jack Sparrow. But he does not have the way they introduced you to him on the sinking ship was
Oh my God.
incredible.
That's
Iconic,
we were
perfect.
alluding to
Absolutely
good.
incredible.
that. We were alluding to that last week without saying it because
Oh,
the
okay.
entrance
Just the
is-
step off to the dock. Fantastic.
Yep.
so good.
And then he gives
That
him the
has to
fake
be.
name.
Has that never been done? That's just so good.
It is funny that he, like through the cultural zeitgeist, thinks of Jack Sparrow
Well, yeah.
as like the characters
like a
in
Jason
the movie.
Bourne or John Wick.
Well,
pirate.
and as
Yeah.
the characters in the movie that don't directly know Jack Sparrow also think of Jack Sparrow. It's like
That's
Nick
true.
got
It's a
canonized
legend.
You got the,
It's a
you got
legend,
the
yeah.
reputation
Right.
of him. Yeah, that's hilarious.
It's really funny. Like you experience
man.
Captain Jack as like a British soldier stationed in Jamaica experience. That's hilarious.
the local legend of Jack.
Right. And then the rest of us are like his crew. Like, no,
Yeah.
he's just a drunk,
You got
bumbling.
the
he's just the luckiest
the
pirate
hairs
ever.
from his back to raft turtles together story of
Right.
Jack
Yeah.
Sparrow. Yeah.
From my back.
Oh man.
I loved the introduction to him where there were no words spoken, but that's just the scene of him on the top of the ship getting off onto the dock told you everything about
It's a perfect show, don't tell.
who he was.
Well, and
yeah.
he swashbuckles immediately because the dock master goes, "It's a shilling for dock," and he goes, "How?" And your name.
Yeah.
And he goes, "How about 3 shillings?" And we forget the name. And then he swipes the bag of money
so good.
on the way out. He's like probably made 5 shillings there. It was
Yeah. Postponing even like the audience's introduction to the character.
Yeah.
Like by doing that. Yeah.
It's really cool. Like, in 30 seconds, pretty much everything you need to know about Jack Sparrow.
Yep.
He's pretty incompetent because he arrives in a sinking boat, but he's very
just
so
getting by.
confident.
he's incompetent, but overtly competent, and he's a scoundrel. But that's cool.
I don't know.
He plays the hand he's dealt.
He's kind of like, what if Han Solo was sloppy?
He's sloppy.
Ew.
Sloppy's a good word because he
Yeah.
is very smart.
Right.
I don't.
But
He's
we
pretty
do have a
tactical.
kind of Star Wars dichotomy. We were talking about this last night. There is a little bit of a Star Wars parallel you can draw. I mean, Will is Luke. Leia and Elizabeth are very similar characters, very strong female characters that don't need no man, and
Oh my
yet end
god!
up with one.
If they end up being brother and sister,
Not a thing.
Oh my god.
Han
Not a
is
thing.
Jack. Our comic relief, the pirate with the wooden eye and the portly bloke.
Yeah.
That's our 3PO and R2.
oh my god, you're right.
It's
They even
kind
have
of
like the kind of squat and tall, skinny.
exactly like it's.
Thing
They were
going.
great.
Wow.
No, I mean,
Yeah, even in
Yeah.
physical.
what I'm not saying
Yeah.
is that Star Wars invented these archetypes, because that's not what I'm saying. But that's what it makes me think of. As I was watching
Everything
it
is
last
Star
night.
Wars.
Well, everything's Star
as
Wars.
we've learned on this journey.
At least for me.
Everything
Funny you say
is
Star Wars
Star
too, because
Wars.
like seeing this movie as a
Rename the
kid, I
podcast.
thought this was going to be as big as Star Wars. It felt like it was like a drop in the bucket for something like that was going to continue and be like a huge franchise.
I mean,
at least as a kid, I kind of felt like, and it kind of did that, but
It
like
kinda
not
is.
really.
It's not the same as Star Wars level.
But it seemed like there was
just-
something there,
Well,
like
the-
Harry
the-
Potter, like Twilight, or all these other things that like
I
became
feel like
movements.
it's Twilight level and maybe almost
Yeah.
Harry Potter level. The difference with Star Wars is that Star Wars was inventing things in the 70s. This movie didn't invent anything.
They did maybe some stuff with Davy Jones in the second one with animation, because that was like a pretty
Oh, man.
That's
groundbreaking.
CGI.
When you watch the second movie,
Yeah.
the CGI, similarly to
Is that
like...
the tentacle man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The CGI ages really well.
I don't know what it is.
Even the
It's
CGI in this
really,
movie
really
ages
well
really well.
done.
I feel like we had a golden era from really 1999 to probably 2005.
I feel like it transformed
I
really
never-
was the start of the fall off.
I never once went, yes, CGI. You know what I mean? Like it was just
like when we watch Lord of the Rings, you'll be like, I can't believe there aren't 500 horses in this battle
Yeah.
and that they are computer generated. I cannot believe that. And they are not. They're not real horses. And that's similar to this. Like even the effect on the Curse of the Aztec Gold, like when they go into the moonlight and they turn into skeletons, like it's a little off, but it looks like 95% believable. Maybe even 98%
Well,
Lighting
believable.
is doing a lot of favors there too, just
I
like
think-
kind of the blue overcast.
Kind of in the same way
Lighting
that
and-
Yeah.
in video games, fog hides a lot of crimes. Lighting hides a lot of crimes
Yeah.
for CGI.
I think
But still, it's well done.
that
Like,
and
tastes-
it's like full on CGI. Like they're not trying to marry the two of like reality and the CGI together. Like there's just CGI
Well, there
skeletons.
is the scenes when they're going in and out of like the moonlight shining
Yeah,
through,
true.
and they kind of are human, but like still, it feels.
You watched the
Kinda
behind the
seamless.
scenes. How much of
Oh,
the
yeah.
boat stuff was boats on water, and how much of it was sets?
It was. It's been a minute since I've watched it, but it was a lot of boats on water.
Actual
Like,
sailing.
actual
occurring.
sailing. I think all the any scenes at night, I think were on sets.
That makes sense.
But
'Cause
I
that's when a lot of the
think-
fighting happens, and I would imagine that when you're throwing dudes overboard, you've got two sets in like a pool of 3-foot deep water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
4 foot
but
deep
I
water.
mean the plank that when Keira Knightley gets and Jack get have to walk the plank, they actually walked off a plank on a boat.
Yeah.
And I think I remember in the behind the scenes she was like, I've stood on this plank for 2 days, like I'm gonna be the one that jumps off of it.
Oh,
Like,
she didn't want to stunt.
yeah,
double.
she didn't want to stunt double
That's
to do
good.
it. She's
That's
like,
awesome.
I'm doing it. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, because that stuff looked really good. Where my mind goes then is like, were those recreation ships? Were they like
So the
historical restorations?
the interceptor ship. So there was a
I
combination.
want to talk about that scene.
The interceptor ship, though, what is an actual ship? You can also see it in several other movies. I can't remember off
Cool.
the top of my head, but it is an actual like British Navy ship that's been retired and is in movies.
That's awesome.
Obviously, they didn't really blow it up, but
Retired and became a movie star.
I used to know more about like what the sizes of ships were called, galleons versus blah blah blah. But I liked that scene when Jack and Will start to go after Elizabeth. So we've done the whole attack on the city and the governor's house, and Will has been captured, right? No, Elizabeth has been captured by the pirates because she made the mistake of she hid her name. She goes, "I'm Elizabeth Turner."
whoops.
To disguise herself as the governor's daughter because she thought the pirates want the governor. I don't want to be Ransom, so I'm going to say I'm Elizabeth Turner, not knowing Bootstrap Bill's the guy they're looking for that has the last piece. So that's the huge mistake. Is kind of how we get really wrapped up in the story. So Will and Jack form like a quick alliance, and they're like, we're gonna go get Elizabeth, and then whatever happens, they steal this big ass boat that, like Sea of Thieves, two dudes can't operate, and they use it to get everybody off the interceptor, and then they just swing over to the interceptor.
I just love that.
They steal
so
a boat
much.
that two dudes can run.
They trick him into getting him ready for him.
I loved that. Also, I want to play Sea of Thieves so bad now.
Carl, install it. We'll get
Yep.
it.
All right.
David would play it in a heartbeat. So that'd be a lot of fun. Sea of Thieves is amazing.
It's free?
It might be on Game Pass. If
Okay.
not, I'll Venmo you $30. Now, that's a really good scene. I really loved the interceptor because it's like I don't think I've caught that in my previous two watchings of like, oh, they just stole that ship.
They did it.
I missed that line of two people can't operate this
Yeah.
vessel, like blah blah blah. Pretty cool. I liked that a lot. Oh man,
It's
I
a
was
pretty airtight, for the most part, script.
yeah.
Like
there's
everything
a
kind of
couple
leads up to
lines.
something. There's not much like fluff for like characters or anything. Everybody's pretty important to the story.
There was one line from the Commodore at the end of the movie that made me roll my eyes a little bit, but other than that, like a lot of the, I ended up.
Was it? This is a beautiful sword. Was it that
No,
one?
I liked that one.
Okay.
But I wrote down a bunch of lines because
There's so many good lines.
they kind of help me remember
Yeah.
set pieces. Like you are without a doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of. But you have heard of me.
You have heard of me.
That's a good line.
Yeah.
This
you
shot
have
is
heard of
not
me.
meant for you when he's aiming the pistol at Will's
Oh,
head in
yeah.
the blacksmith shop.
Some pretty good,
And
like,
I'm
foreshadowing.
That's good
Yeah.
foreshadowing.
You best start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one.
You're in
That's a
one.
good
Cold line. Yeah.
Of course, Elo
Good
puppet.
stuff.
The Elo
Elo
puppet.
puppet.
With the
was
eye,
good.
you see the
I expected
light.
Elo
leaves
Governor.
his
Oh,
face.
that was so good.
He's so scary.
I liked so when Jack's in jail and the cannon blast breaks out all the dudes next to him, which were his former crew.
no,
No, just some dudes.
just some
That
random
knew
dudes.
other
pirates.
pirate dudes.
And he starts whistling for the dog. That's an homage to the ride. There's a
Oh.
there's a part where we go past a brig and there's dudes trying to bribe a dog with the key in the mouth.
I do remember
the
the
line when they're
dog.
talking about the Black Pearl, and they're like, "There's no survivors" or whatever, and he's like, "Then where do the stories come from? I wonder." It's like,
Yeah, that's good.
line,
That's
too.
good.
It's
Yeah.
like so many great lines.
And then the first hint of the Curse of the Black Pearl when the pirate grabs Jack by the neck and his arm goes into the moonlight, and you're like,
Yeah. I didn't.
he's got a spooky arm.
Yeah.
I like the spooky arm. So where
There were so many good lines, but at the very end, Elizabeth standing there with Will, and they're like, "Yeah, we've decided to be with each other," and her dad or whatever goes, "But he's just a blacksmith," and she goes, "No, he's a pirate."
that's a bit. Yep, I'm with
Stupid.
I'm with you on that one.
Oh my god.
Throw away the last 5 minutes of the movie, but everything else
Really,
is fantastic.
truly.
Like,
No, he's a pirate. I think I said that out loud
so
right before she
dumb,
said
yeah.
it. Oh my god.
That's not the boo.
Whatever.
You're not gonna win an Oscar with that line. That's for damn
he's
sure.
a pirate. He's also barely a pirate. Like,
Yeah, you best start
Barely,
winning
yeah.
Oscars. That's
It's in his blood.
he's a buccaneer with that hat. Like, ugh, man.
and then there's
Well, he
other,
took
there's,
the hat off.
there's other homages to the
she took
ride,
the hat off.
like when
Spicy.
Jack and Elizabeth are marooned on the island after they walk the plank and they make it. Elizabeth like sings the Yo Ho Yo Ho
Teaches
song.
him the song.
Teaches him the song and he goes, "That's a good song." And
So-
it's a song from the ride.
That scene, did she pretend to be drunk?
Yes.
Or is she just a
I
professional?
mean, her bottle.
No,
was
she pretended to be drunk.
Was she? Okay.
Yeah,
Because
she's
she
getting
wanted to
him
get him
drunk to pass, so he'll pass out, so then she can.
Set the island.
everything
Remember,
on
he
fire.
hands her the bottle, and she looks at it, and she kind of is
I
like,
think you meant the actor. Is she pretending to be drunk?
I thought her bottle.
Yes, they are they're method acting.
I think she's just dumping it.
I guess her spilling it and yeah.
Maybe she had a few sips, and then she'd dump a little bit
Yeah,
out
she
here
probably
and
had a
there.
little.
Because he's drinking half a bottle of rum, which is a shitload.
Yeah.
Of,
Yeah.
Can you imagine downing half a bottle of whiskey? No, sir. What are we, Carl? No.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Oh my God. Can we talk about the coolest scene? Wait.
The coolest scene.
All right. Let's not talk about the coolest scene.
Okay.
Because the coolest scene comes after where you stopped. So last night, Nick's internet went out with 39 minutes left in the movie. So
Yep.
basically,
I was
the whole third act.
Furious.
So you got, were they even on the island? Had they even walked the plank at that point in the movie yet?
Yeah. So my internet went out whenever William had been captured by the cursed
He basically
pirates.
goes, "I'm Will Turner,"
Yeah.
and
They
Barbosa's
throw him in
like,
prison.
jackpot.
Or not in prison, but
Before the ship
The
fight,
brig.
the brig.
before the ship fight between the Pearl and
After.
okay,
I saw that.
okay, so they're shooting forks and
Will is literally in front of the gold whenever it paused.
okay, so this is after he's almost drowned and
Okay.
the
Yeah,
ship
yeah.
fight with the spoons and forks and all that malarkey.
Yeah.
Okay. So your internet paused, and then today you watched this movie. You finished this like a couple hours before the show. You finished the last 40 minutes. of the
Literally
movie.
2 hours ago.
So, this morning I had you write down how you thought the movie was going to end,
Which was a great call.
and I would like you to read how you thought the movie was going to
I
end.
must say, I think I did pretty good.
Okay.
It's not exact.
I hope you wrote like not War and Peace, but like a decent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So internet goes out when William is captured by the cursed pirates. They're about to kill him and use his blood to get rid of the curse.
Yep.
From that, I thought that Jack Sparrow will end up doing some pirate stuff and setting William free.
Vague.
But before he does, William will get a small cut and spill some blood, temporarily lifting the curse.
You're thinking accidental cut.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be accidental. And that would temporarily lift the curse. And then there'll be a big battle with literally everyone, the like governor and the crew and everyone versus the cursed pirates, who can now die.
It's like a two parties versus one. Like,
Yeah.
like Jack's boys and the British.
Lots of swords and fighting, which
Kind
cool.
of, yeah. Predictable.
I mean, that's an easy guess.
Right.
Then I said,
Oh, slow down, Einstein.
this isn't foolproof here, but then I said Jack will somehow destroy part or all of the treasure and then escape, leaving the cursed pirates cursed forever because the treasure's destroyed.
Okay. Little whiff there.
Leaving them cursed for the rest of eternity, and then William will find out that someone we know is his father the whole time.
Oh.
But
I'm not. Nobody's saying
the
anything.
bootstrap.
Nobody's saying anything about Bill.
yeah,
You need to watch
I
more of the
obviously
movies.
only know-
Watch more of the movies.
I assume that becomes a plot point.
I think the next two movies are at least worth your time, for sure.
yeah.
I mean, I want to watch them all.
Yeah.
yeah. Dead Man's Chest.
I mean, I'll let you know as I watch each. If
I think Dead Man's Chest is a good movie. I think the one that we're talking about now is a great movie.
Yes.
I think Dead Man's Chest is good. And from what I've seen of World's End, I'm like, yeah, it's dumb.
I prefer the third one to the second one.
Really? Okay.
I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen either of them, but growing up, I remember liking the third one.
I think
over the
out of
second.
band, not for the show, we're going to go through the movies. So
I feel like they follow a similar arc as the Matrix movies. The first one's like great, and then they kind of taper off. But
yeah.
It's hard to one up great, you know?
Well, and making sequels that like, yeah, it just is. It's a lot. They do some. They make some decisions with the sequel films where I'm like, why
What?
you do just hate the audience? But that's
They do.
That's everything.
They do hate the audience.
Lost.
Boo.
I don't want
Gilmore
to
Girls.
spoil myself, so I'll just make a statement rather than ask a question like I was planning on. I thought that Will would think that his dad is still alive and presumably undead like the rest of them, just stuck at the bottom of the ocean.
He's smarter than he looks.
And that bothered me that they didn't even talk about it, or he didn't even think about it.
He's smarter than he looks. Stay tuned for Dead
Stay
Man's...
tuned.
Hey, stay tuned
missed
for the
the,
movie called
notes
Dead
on the piano,
Man's
though.
Chest.
Oh boy. All right, I called the next movie.
So not crazy, not inaccurate enough, I guess. Like,
Yeah, I thought
So
that
you
the undead
thought-
people were gonna stay undead forever.
And be
So
cursed.
you kind of thought the breaking of the curse would be like a gotcha, and it would, and that's not really how it works. I think the curse break is a pretty satisfying end to
Yeah.
Barbosa. Nobody say anything.
What? Oh boy. Then why'd you even say that?
Because
I do
it's
have
funny.
a question about that, but we can get to that later.
Also, like the beginning of the second movie, third movie,
Anyways,
fourth movie.
Never mind.
It is the end of the second movie. So
I know these movies.
What,
really well.
the coolest part of the movie. What was what if you had to guess what
Coolest
I think
part?
the coolest part of the movie
Jack
is?
becoming cursed.
No. For me, the coolest part of the movie is gents take a walk when the undead parts
yeah.
walk on the ocean
That's pretty
floor
good.
Oh
up
yeah.
to the thing.
What
That
did I write down?
that is the coolest part of the movie for me.
Can we talk about Barbosa for a second?
Let's talk about Barbosa for 45 minutes.
I just want to point out it would be a miss. This man was given every single pirate gimmick to like act off of. He has the monkey. He's the only one that does the arr. He's got the big hat, and it
Yeah.
doesn't feel gimmicky.
He's missing one
Yeah,
thing.
he crushes.
You know,
it.
He's
Peg
missing-
leg.
it's fantastic.
He's missing
Okay.
three things. Eye patch,
Eye patch.
peg leg,
Yeah.
hook hand.
Oh.
But other than
That'd have been a
that,
bridge too
But
far.
he's
There's
most
more movies.
gimmicky pirate, but yet
Yeah.
it's not gimmicky. It works.
Well, it's funny because you're talking about him talking like a pirate. I kind of you know the Witcher games, Cameron.
yes, of course.
I have very limited exposure, but The Witcher, his voice is like an American accent.
Yep.
Whereas everyone else's is like English,
like
and I feel
almost
like Jack Sparrow's
Cockney, like poor English.
like way over, like an overcorrection
Very
to like
over the
really
top.
make it contrast. Like, and I feel like Jack Sparrow's voice is kind of like that in this movie. Or at least his mannerisms or like his tone. It's very like kind of modern.
Well,
and it kind of stands out a little bit to give him that sort of
He is
main
vaguely
character energy.
vaguely British, but
Yeah.
I would describe his accent.
He's
more as
British, like the
drunk.
Robin Hood voice is British.
Right. He's just drunk
Yeah.
though. That's his accent.
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
He's just
thought-
a drunk
yeah.
guy. He's a savvy. Like he's just
He's
a-
got lost.
I thought Barbosa was the perfect pairing of actor with role.
it's so good.
Like
This movie's
he
casting
feels
is
made to
perfect,
be
yeah.
a pirate.
So you said you had a casting hot take. What is it?
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Oh.
I thought for the most part that William was just a little boring.
Fight.
So
fight.
no,
Fight.
he's
Like-
meant to be boring. He's meant to be boring in this one.
Like
The
he's
direct-
there, he's having a good time doing
He's
some
the,
pirate
he's
stuff.
the
Yeah.
straight man.
You need a grounded
He's
character.
lawful good until it's chiseled away.
You need
He is a grounded
There's
character.
no straight man in this movie until Will shows up. Everybody else is off the rails crazy. So you need a guy, and straight men are boring. It's just kind of how it is sometimes.
And
Yeah.
he kept trying to play it cooler, and the director had to keep being like, "No, you're still a dork. Stop it."
Yeah. Now
So-
he gets
He did get a really great introduction with the candle on the wall.
when
Yeah,
he
Where he
it's
just pulls the
awkward,
candle and
yeah.
just throws it in something.
Just smash.
he loosens the collar a bit in the sequel films, but I feel like it jumps the shark. Kinda. I'm not as big.
You
of a
haven't seen
I don't
that.
know,
You
he
haven't
feels like he's
seen the
trying to be
ending,
edgy.
so
I know of the ending actually.
Cameron loves reading about endings of movies.
he does love it. But you haven't seen it acted out. You haven't seen the
have.
whole transition.
Not the whole.
It's an
manifest,
experience.
It's an experience. You have to experience.
It's not the end of the second with the island and the.
No.
Okay.
I forgot about that.
Is that the third movie? The second.
Oh,
That's the third
man.
movie. So I've seen that,
Okay.
The island and the
and I was, and my
was the end.
my predominant thought about that was dumb. I
We
don't know.
can't keep talking about this because
Right.
I have too many
They-
thoughts. I have too many thoughts about the end of the third movie, and I can't say them right now because Nick hasn't seen it.
They just go. They certainly go.
to more pirate movies.
Right.
I'll leave. You guys have to know.
They certainly go in a direction with the sequel.
I'm not happy about it.
and I'm not happy about it. I don't think anyone.
Maybe
is.
this is a seamless transition into Pirate Month.
Not quite. 'Cause we have to-
This
Go
is a
ahead.
pirate podcast
Wait.
now.
I was just gonna say the fifth movie, while terrible, does remedy some of that.
Okay, thank you.
Anyways,
haven't
that's all I'm gonna say.
So we've been having an argument for several weeks.
Is it time for this now?
I think so.
Oh my
boy.
god.
And then maybe from here we can lead into hot points and then circle back because we haven't been actually talking for that long. But
Yeah, I have some stuff I want to talk about with the score.
you want to talk about the score now? Let's talk about the score now.
Sure. Well, I just wanted
Because
to.
we not to cut you off, we alluded to this score.
Do you want to talk about it? How about no?
Well, no, I just want to preface. We alluded to this score while talking about Gladiator.
Yes.
And the same composer did both and just said Control C, Control V. I don't remember which was first.
Gladiator.
Gladiator was first. And then he went, I like that.
That was great.
I'll use it again.
Again. Yeah, it's pretty blatant. No, I just. So I don't know if I've ever said on the podcast before, but I play violin. I played violin for 4 years. But this movie, this score is one of the things that first made me fall in love with like symphony music.
Okay.
I've loved the score. I've listened
so
to
good.
it. You know, there's a theme that comes in the second and third
motif.
movie that's so good.
The motif, the ba-na-nut, nut, 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 and then the dun,
classic.
dun, 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 dun.
It's so catchy.
be stuck in your head forever.
But I mean, I love all of it. I love the pirate like themes. I love Will and Elizabeth's theme. It's so good.
And it fits very well with the story and the settings and the costuming and everything else. It's
Yeah.
a perfect blend of everything.
I don't know. It
Score
just
seats well.
it just has a place in my heart. I just wanted to say that because I love it so much. And I got to play it one time in a junior symphony, so
Ooh,
it
nice.
sounded terrible, but I got to do it.
Wow.
So-
that-
Carl,
that-
did you pick up
junior
on the
symphony.
songs at all? Like, did they stand out to you?
The soundtrack for this movie, yes, definitely.
It's an
That is
all.
not the
Dun,
answer I
dun, dun,
wanted.
dun, dun.
It's
Dun,
just
dun,
so
dun, dun, dun.
Really,
Dun,
it's
dun.
it
all-
builds the
It
emotion.
just-
I mean,
it's like the epitome of adventure sound.
Yeah.
It
You
just
are-
really sounds
I was hoping
like
this was
you're-
just them being musicians.
Well, I was
No,
going to say,
I-
you are in your defense, do not take this as an attack, the least musical of the four of us.
Oh, for sure.
So
I've got one ear.
Carl.
he's got one ear.
All right, now it's an attack.
you did do that to yourself.
Yeah, I did. I mean, like,
I'll stand here in front of the subwoofer.
I think for someone like me, not picking up on the music is, I don't know. Is that like, it just feel like I know that was there
for this
There's,
movie-
I don't want to sound
It's just so
pretentious, but like,
atmospheric
there's
in this movie.
there's an experience there, right? Like
I feel like it underscores
I understand the
everything.
vibe and the
Like,
feel and
just-
like the. I just didn't pick up on the
It, like, it
specifics of the
feels
music
synced
like you
up
guys
with
did.
what's happening on
So-
camera. Like it feels like a music video.
I don't know. Of all the films we've watched, I think to whiff the score of this movie is the most egregious so far because it's
This is
so.
egregious.
It's just the main theme is so
I wonder.
poignant.
Bum, bum, bum,
Maybe I watched this movie with headphones. Maybe it was only coming out of the right headphone.
Oh,
That's true because
no.
unless you have you don't have your audio set to mono for your deafness.
No,
That's a choice.
It's not complete loss. Well,
It's,
I only lost
it's
like
lost
30%.
enough to where you should probably do mono.
I can't imagine that
Yeah,
the music would
it's,
just come in one ear though.
I should go to the doctor.
You should
probably
you should
should.
look up the soundtrack and at least listen to the main theme, like and deliver because man,
Yeah.
it's the syncopation of it. Dun 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 dun. dun. It's so good.
It's also impossible. I could never do it.
it's right.
I wonder.
I just ignored that part of the music.
I kind of want to like research this now. It'd be interesting to see what a composer thinks of people picking out specifics like that, or just it kind of like melting into the whole experience of the movie. Like, what is their preference? What do they want people to walk away with?
well, I mean, composers want you to have an emotional reaction to their music, but I don't know.
But to
You're
notice
saying-
it so detailed is that the
you're
goal?
saying that you
I think that's just the spectrum of emotional reaction.
right.
I've always
and-
had a really high emotional reaction to symphonic music. I don't
and
know.
I have a high analytical reaction to a lot of music. Like I like to pick it apart.
And I'm just like, I'm here for a good
I'm
time.
just here for a minute.
like, you know, in normal music, I'm like, ooh, nice kick pattern. Ooh, I like
Yeah,
how he hit
you're
the
freaking
ride there.
counting
Ooh,
when
I-
we're listening to music.
I do.
Stupid.
I want to know the meter. There's that one Paramore song, "Misery Business," where they go
I
from
used to play that on Guitar Hero.
They go from 3/4 to
Loves
4/4.
talking about this song.
Well, they go from 3/4 to 4/4 from the verses of the chorus with a 5/4 transition, and that is dope.
It's too much.
So,
You nerd.
but stuff like that, you know. And I was a music director
Fair.
for a church, and that doesn't give me the right to say I'm a music director. But hey, whatever.
The fart.
Hot points slash
Do
hot
you want to
argument.
do hot argument?
Hot argument.
Let's do hot argument and hot points. There has
Alright.
been an debate, TikTok,
Yes.
that we have had, and it is who's hotter, Legolas or Will Turner. I am firmly and immovably in the Legolas camp. She is firmly and immovably in the Will
I'm in
Turner
the Will
camp.
Turner camp. Not sorry.
I
about
don't
it.
think your reasoning is invalid,
Thank you.
but give me the Twinkie elf. I think he's hotter 100%.
What's been
I
crazy?
think I'm with you, Cameron.
I think
I think
most people,
I got a refresher.
All
of this
of you
movie.
guys.
most
I think
people
that
she's
he's
talked
a
to,
dork in this movie.
Listen.
most people she's
In this
talked to
movie.
have been with me.
I have never seen Lord of the Rings. I'm with Cameron.
Well, guess what? Who's in charge of hot points in this?
Well, no.
Me.
That's not what we're saying. That's not what we're saying.
I just am
I would
sad.
like you to present.
I think
Nobody
he
loves
looks
my
better
side.
probably with the dark hair and the mustache, but his personality is better as Legolas.
I actually disagree. I like him clean shaven more. However, I want you to, because you're having an emotional response because we've been doing this for 3 weeks. But what's your reasoning?
Just nobody agrees with me, and
That's
it's just
fine.
crazy
it's
to me.
It's okay to be wrong. What is your what do you see in Will Turner that Legolas doesn't have?
Well, I think part of it is when my 13-year-old self first saw this movie.
That's true.
He was like
there's a sexual
have
awakening.
you seen on TikTok? Yeah, the like parties, like dress like your sexual awakening.
Yeah.
That Will Turner was mine, so
That's
he'll always
hysterical.
have a place in my heart.
I think I would have to dress as welcome to my life as a teenage robot.
So I don't know. I also
And the one goth chick from Danny Phantom.
oh my gosh.
Wow.
Cameron likes cartoon characters.
Shigo, oh my
That's what
God.
we've learned. Shigo was hot. Literally.
Kim Possible?
Oh, Kim Possible.
Kim Possible?
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh my god.
What's the sitch?
Sitch.
Anyway, go ahead.
You're wanting to explain my reasoning?
Well, no, this was your so I mean your juvenile sexual awakening. That's a
Yeah.
huge reason. That's all you had to say
That's a
3 weeks
huge
ago.
reason. Yeah, but I also
It's still you're incorrect, but
okay. Everybody has their opinion.
Well, it's not
hotness is in the eye of the beholder. So
it's
I'm not right. You're not wrong.
invalid. But I think Legolas is just. I think part of Legolas's appeal too is that he's not romantically involved with anyone. Will Turner, you can't take without Elizabeth.
He's unavailable.
See,
yeah.
but like the scenes, Will and Elizabeth when they're down in that little hatch, the yearning, hot.
I can't even remember that.
Oh my God! Again,
Can't be bothered.
13-year-old me
Resourceful.
was like,
he knows how
"Ugh."
to build things. He makes a
hot.
good sword.
Doesn't even have
He's
elf
the
eyes.
best swordsman in the movie, according to the director.
He would lose to Legolas in a fight.
We're not okay, but he's not in the same universe as
Well, yeah,
Legolas,
but
so that
Legolas is
doesn't
like a
matter.
Will
demigod,
Turner could
right?
never take down an Oliphant single-handed.
Again, that's not the point. We're not doing. They're not fighting each other. They're in different universes.
I think what I like about Legolas is he's got that elfish neuroses. Like he's neurotic. He's quiet. He has very few lines in the movies.
Stoic.
He's stoic. He's also great at everything. He's got elf eyes. He's a tracker. He's immortal. And
Please no spoilers.
he's friends with a race that hates him and that he hates historically. Him and Gimli are boys, and elves and dwarves do not get along. Dwarves don't really get along with anyone, to be fair. But I don't know. He's blonde. He's pure. He's brilliant.
He's too clean. I've said before. I like a little bit of little grease.
You need the cleanliness juxtaposed to Aragorn and Gimli's gruffness.
I understand why he is the way he is, but I'm saying I find Will Turner hotter because I like the greasiness.
Well, obviously, you're married to me.
Here we are. So
A
you're
big
welcome.
hairy oaf.
You're
So
So
welcome.
if Cameron shaves, she's out.
I haven't
No.
shaved in many
Yeah,
years.
don't go platinum blonde.
Yeah, no blonde.
Should I dye my hair?
Yes.
He just looks like a little
I think you
baby
should.
face. Like Legolas looks like a little baby face.
I thought we were still talking about Cameron.
Blonde hair with the dark mustache. Be a
He
look.
just got the
No, not hot. No.
Texting Sherry.
Oh my gosh.
Just kidding.
No, I don't
Dyeing my hair
know.
is too much upkeep.
I think Orlando Bloom looks better with darker hair,
I like
a little bit of grease.
I will say,
I don't know.
I'll backtrack.
Plus, I'm a
my-
sucker
my
for a
stance.
bow and
I'll
arrow.
wait till I watch Lord of the Rings.
Thank you. I also
But we did just establish that I thought he was very boring in this movie. So
He
it's
get-
not looking good.
Legolas isn't exciting, I would say. He is, again, he doesn't have many lines. He's definitely a background character, but him and Gimli in Two Towers serve it, and really all three films, they serve as the comedic relief, especially when the Fellowship. Never mind.
Yep. Thank you.
Will in the beginning is like calling her Miss
Mary and
Turner,
Pippin are
and he
also-
won't call her Elizabeth. He's too kind of sniveling and.
Okay, he's
Well,
not
there's-
sniveling. There's,
class-
societal
yes,
standards.
There's class differences.
He's got to
there.
learn how to break
Yeah.
the rules.
He's a member of the proletariat. and
He's
she's
all
They
but-
known
bourgeois.
each other for like 10 years though at that point, right?
No, they were together briefly for 8 years, most of which he was passed out during.
He's all buttoned up. He's got to learn how to loosen up.
I don't know. Yeah.
He loosens
He
up.
does
He
get
wears
loosened
his
up, but-
neck scarf.
Everything he knows about his
He's
father is a
pulling the
lie.
ropes. He's smoldering on the ocean about his dad.
Who he thinks is an upstanding citizen.
He's learning.
My
Yeah.
father is not a pirate. It's like, all right,
He has
calm
to
down, man.
overcome an internal struggle. Legolas is just running around being amazing.
You know why? Because he's perfect.
I just said because he's amazing, but that's not as compelling because it's just.
Sometimes
he's
he just wants
great.
some perfect. And plus, the world of pirates is full of adventure, hope, grab the world by the balls, make something of yourself. And Lord of the Rings is a bummer.
Yeah.
The world's
Oh, no.
ending. And the world's literally crumbling. And you've got beautiful blonde people who are immortal, but yet going to the West.
I would watch Pirates of the Caribbean so many more times than I can watch.
I think
Lord of the-
Legolas is like-
I love Lord of the
Well,
Rings, but
Pirates
it's
has a
so
more lighthearted feel.
it's so much.
It's more digestible.
I think Legolas is like 800 and something years old during Lord of the Rings.
See, that's too
God,
old.
he looks great.
Of course.
He talked down to you because he'd know everything.
He does it because
He mansplain all the time.
elves have poise.
Elf-splain.
All right. Elf-splain.
So we're undecided on that. It's a split vote.
I think it's just up to personal opinion.
Did you do
Let us know
hot
in the
points for
comments.
him?
No, we're doing hot points right
But
now.
For those who are
Go
just
ahead.
listening, I was just swaying to the music.
Yeah. Follow us on
Well-
YouTube.
Now I'm gonna, like we've already just discussed, I'm gonna be biased towards Will Turner.
But you did do Will Turner and not Jack.
I did both.
Oh my God. Start with
nice.
Will. Start with Will. We'll go to Jack.
So
Savvy.
Will's obviously gonna be a 10 for me. I can't help it. He's a 10.
I'm shocked.
You started at 10? I thought we started at 5.
Well, we started at 5, but he makes it to 10.
Okay.
I mean, he's
That was a lob.
the accent, the smolder. He's risking it all to save his lady. That scene.
Who might not even love him back
He might not even love that. Self-sacrificing. Hot.
to the death.
That kiss at the end. Hot. It's a good kiss. The face grab. Hot.
Will Turner couldn't have seen that the Uruks have turned to the north.
Oh my gosh.
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard. Will would have had no idea.
Listen, me and Will Turner can be on our island, and all
you have
y'all
to get
can
like a
fight over
periscope that just goes all the way
Legolas over
around.
there.
He would need a looking glass, which if he had one,
You even need a looking glass.
Also, people kept telling me that he was whiny in this movie. I didn't think.
I don't think he's whiny.
He's not whiny, so they're
Who-
wrong.
who told you that?
Caitlin.
Wrong.
He's kind of whiny when he throws the axe down. He's like, "That's not good enough."
Well,
It's not whiny, but
He
it's
wants
just
to
like,
save
eh.
his lady.
Movie was.
They're not trying.
Movie was pretty violent. Violent film.
There's a lot of axe throwing.
Yeah.
Axe throwing and
Maps
murder.
aren't easy
What?
to make, kid.
You turned off the song. with
Song-
mere seconds left.
Song ended. I reached for the fade out and hit the hard stop. That's on me.
How embarrassing.
If iPads had buttons, I would have been able to. But
You know.
I'll buy a third Stream Deck.
There you go.
Just kidding. I don't have any USB ports left. All right, Jack. Should we
Jack,
restart?
let's
Jack
restart.
points.
Let's restart.
I'm never saying Jack points again.
So I will say, I feel like
Yikes.
when this movie came out, most of the girls were also after Johnny Depp and not Orlando
but
Bloom.
his teeth are gross.
His teeth are gross. He's not as hot to me,
He's also drunk.
and he's older. Like I'm not a person who's into older guys as
He
much.
was probably in his 30s. Ew.
At the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. At the time.
Disgusting.
So he did get. Are you ready for me to
I'm gonna die. Yeah, go ahead.
He did get a. What's happening?
Carl's just making faces.
Stop!
Yeah, 30s.
I'm trying.
Your 30s.
I mean, when you're younger and everybody was thirsting after Jack
No,
Sparrow
yeah,
when
yeah.
they were like 15.
Yeah, that's icky.
Not
that's
now,
weird. That's weird.
obviously. Obviously now, I like
Yeah. 30-year-old
30-year-old
Yeah,
men.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
How very Commodore what's their face is it?
Yeah. Well, in reverse though.
We're running out of hot point song.
Well, you guys keep interrupting me, so it's your fault.
Go ahead. Captain Jack hot points.
He got a +1 because the way he lifted Elizabeth out of the water to rescue her. I was like, that's pretty strong. He's just full hoisting her.
Also, even rescuing Elizabeth is pretty hot.
That's pretty hot. He just
Dove right in the
jumped
water.
in.
It's noble for a pirate.
It was noble. It's a +1. I forgot what the other
Because
one was.
I feel like a pirate would have been like, bad luck, mate. And
Yeah.
just gone ashore.
Just like,
Goes against
women.
the code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who needs women? Anyways. And then there was some scene, I think he was bargaining with Barbossa about whether or not he should tell the name. And he's like, just
Yeah.
give me the ship. And I don't know, I feel like Johnny Depp looked kind of nice in that lighting. I was like, that's kind of attractive. So he got another +1.
Moonlight's got to work for someone.
Yeah.
I do
so
dig
that
his eyeliner.
puts us at a
Oh,
7.
guy liner is good. 7
Guy
overall.
liner.
Set a 7
That's not
overall.
bad.
That's
That is not bad
Oh,
for
I've
Jack
never heard
Sparrow.
that.
Yeah. A golf clap. He's no Will Turner in my eyes.
Well, there you go, hot points.
There you go, hot points. that was one of the most chaotic hot points we've ever had.
This whole episode's been pretty chaotic.
That's chaos. I want to go backwards to Nickel.
Hi.
Before we get into Hitman or Miss, what do you think of the real ending to the movie compared to your ending?
I really liked it. I like the ending. I don't know entirely what happened to the Black Pearl pirates once they came back to life and dropped their swords.
You assume arrested, I think.
Yeah.
Huzzah 20 times.
That bothered me a little bit. I kind of wanted some
Bring back Huzzah.
Don't.
some closure there.
Back is off.
Well, it's not the last you see of all of them.
That's true.
I'll
there
say
are
that.
four more movies.
Yep.
What?
Did when this movie came out, was there already plans for multiple, or was it just?
I don't think
Probably
quite.
not. Then they went, this movie made hundreds of millions of
Yep,
dollars.
as
We
they
have
do.
to have more of this.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed the ending. I feel like I wasn't too far off.
What'd you
other
feel
than
about
the pirates?
the Barbossa death? I really thought that death was very poignant. I
I
feel cold. And then he dies and the apple falls.
that was a good last line. I
I
didn't
do have
expect
a
him to
question
die.
about that because
Where did
he
the apple
shoots
come
him-
from?
No, he shoots him, but then they put the gold in. So wouldn't that have been a pre-death wound? Wouldn't he be okay?
Kind of how I took it is like things happened.
The blood touched it?
slightly out of order. Like as soon as the bullet went into him, then he was human, kind of deal, or some kind of
Okay.
convenient something.
Well,
for storytelling
I
purposes,
feel
you have
like
to chop it
on.
up.
they probably had to like show it falling so that the audience could make the connection of oh now
Exactly.
the curse is done or
Exactly.
something. But like they probably originally were just like looking at the gold and it was there or something. But
the
yeah,
bullet
maybe didn't
could
sell.
have been in him.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when it hit, that's whenever it took effect.
Right,
Okay,
Because
so it,
you
like,
do see the
sealed
blood
hole.
start.
They still get shot when they're dead. So and
Yeah,
he
because they
wasn't in
got
the-
they put a bomb in him at one point.
yeah. Well, and he wasn't in Moonlight, so he had skin on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
had he been a skeleton
blood.
when he got shot, I'd be like, all right, what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
One final thing that I need to wrap my brain around. Why specifically Will's or Turner blood?
Because his dad had taken the gold piece originally.
He was the
a
one
part
they
of
were
the crew.
missing. They had everybody but him.
Gotcha.
So I assume.
So it's
it-
tied to the person who took it.
I guess, or that person's blood, which Will has because he's a descendant.
Well, but Jack Sparrow didn't bleed putting his back.
He at one point you see him like grab
It
it,
was wrapped.
slice, and then
Yeah.
he kind of it's a quick, but he does
implied.
slice and throws him his coin.
Right.
All right.
So
Yeah.
I think all that's kind of more or less fine.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed the ending for sure.
Any other questions about the movie before we wrap?
No.
Okay, let's do Hitman or Miss real quick. And then I got one more thing. So I'll start because I never start. This movie's a hit for me. I think it's really fun. I enjoy this as pirate movies go immensely. Granted, I haven't seen any other pirate movies, but I think it's a fun ride. I think it's sufficiently violent while still maintaining that, Disney sheen. There's enough throat slashing and stabbings and people catching hatchets in their back and explosions and mutinies and stuff for it to be sufficiently exciting while maintaining what I believe was a PG rating.
I thought it was 13.
Might have been PG-13. I think there was a spookiness factor. I remember being semi creeped out by the skeleton reveals and all that stuff, and the hand in the drawer and all that. And I remember the first time I watched this movie vividly. I believe it was a friend of mine whose dad worked for Disney, so she showed me this movie, and then we watched Indiana Jones. Nice. You know exactly what I'm talking
Yep.
about. So great. In fact, her dog's name was Pearl, and it was a black pug, so it was named
Nice.
after the Black Pearl. So I have fond memories of watching this movie as a kid, and every time I have a pirate itch, this is what I go for, and then I play Sea of Thieves or Assassin's Creed 4. Let's end with you.
Okay.
Well, no, let's do you now, actually,
Okay.
because it's obviously a hit. 'cause
It's
you love this
obviously a
movie.
hit for me. I mean, same as you. This is probably my favorite classic Disney ride, Pirates of the Caribbean.
It is my
Nice.
second favorite.
What's your first? Haunted Mansion?
Haunted Mansion is my favorite.
Haunted Mansion's also classic, but
Haunted
Pirates-
Mansion's an untouchable for me. It's my favorite ride.
I don't know how they do Haunted Mansion. I don't want to know. It's just pure magic for me.
I've looked it up. It's
I love
great.
Haunted Mansion.
I don't want to know.
I love how
How do they do the ball scene? There's people dancing. There's holograms. I don't understand how it works. There's a floating ball head.
I won't explain it. So,
Magic.
hit for you.
Hit for me. Yep. This is probably still one of my favorite movies. I could watch it any time.
This
Just
is
put it on.
like this to you as Star Wars is
Yeah,
to me kind
I
of
think
deal.
so.
Gotcha.
I think so.
Carl, where are you at on the spectrum? Mid?
For my autism?
For the,
Yeah, for
for the movie.
well, you and I have
this
to
is-
duel out for the most autistic big room person.
Yeah. So this is kind of like a near perfect movie for me. Like it kind of came out at the
really
perfect
good.
nostalgic time. Like the casting is phenomenal, the pacing is great, the writing is fun, the visuals are really well done, the world building feels like really immersive and exciting.
Yeah.
It's got action, comedy, and drama, and suspense and adventure. It's got something for
It's
everybody.
everything.
Hell of a
The
movie for our
soundtrack is
childhoods.
fantastic. Yeah, and we like when we my family would go on road trips and we'd have this little tiny TV that we'd put on like the back of the seats and we would like rent
same.
a movie, like family movie. So
Yep.
like Pirates was one of the ones, and we would exhaust that movie from like the document, like the director's commentary to the behind the scenes stuff. So like
Yeah.
I know way too much about
You know
Pirates of the
what?
Caribbean.
We did the same thing,
But-
but with the 6 Stars movies and the
Yeah.
like first 10
I remember
seasons of
I remember a
Mythbusters.
literal. Yeah, there was like a cut scene where like a plane flies over and Jack Sparrow goes, "Was that a plane?" And like just it's like a deleted scene. And I also remember there was when he's talking about the parlay and he's like, "Whoever invented the parlay?" He's like, "That'd be the French." I remember there being another line about like they also invented mayonnaise and the guy being like, "I like mayonnaise," and maybe that was just a deleted
Might have
scene,
been a
It's a
deleted
or maybe they
scene.
removed
That's
it from
good.
like a director's cut or something. But this movie's a definite hit for me.
All right, moment of truth time for Nick.
Well,
Let's see.
I'm just kidding.
Miss.
Is it a hit for Nick?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Nope.
The Curse of the
Caribbean.
Black Pearl.
Caribbean.
Caribbean. It's Caribbean. I don't know what it is. I think you can use both. This is an absolute hit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't let us
I wrote
down.
down. I wrote down some
banger.
immediate thoughts after finishing. I said, "This is a classic now, right?" Yes, it's got to be a classic.
100%.
Was not bored for a second. How do you even pick it apart? Johnny Depp was the perfect casting,
Yeah.
and I love that he is a drunken fool, but also the smartest man in the room.
Yeah, he's great. It's a good movie.
It's a
Now-
good recap.
Before we end, we already talked, by the way, our next movie is Phantom Menace. I spoiled that earlier in the episode because it should be obvious. It's its 25th anniversary this year.
That's crazy.
I'm
It
celebrating.
should be obvious.
I'm celebrating its 25th anniversary by getting an Attack of the Clones tattoo.
That's
I
I have 3 Phantom Menace ones, so
am watching this movie in theaters.
So am I.
So is Cameron.
well,
So
I
is-
might be with you. I
gonna try
probably
to.
won't be because I'll actually be getting tattooed that day. So I may not be there. But
I'm excited to watch this one in
Now-
theaters.
Nick, this movie, before we get to Star Wars, before we end the show,
Oh, okay.
the last line of this movie, do you remember it?
Yep.
I know it's Johnny Depp
Yep.
saying something with a
I
compass.
just made a meme of it.
It is.
He's holding the compass on the ship.
It's an improvised line.
I don't remember what
Danielle
it is. though.
pointed out, and he says, "Go and bring me that horizon," which is where the band "Bring Me the Horizon" gets their name
Holy
from.
I did not know that.
Really?
Oh my.
That's amazing.
I'm so glad you didn't look that up.
Why did I'm going to say something that is incredibly stupid. I literally have chills I literally had chills when you said that. I don't know why. That's insane.
That's where Bring Me gets their name from.
Wow.
Is
Oh,
that
what
line at
to
the end of the
make of
movie,
that?
which Johnny Depp pulled out of his ass, you said today, right, Danielle?
Yeah, he came up with that line that morning.
Yeah. Go and bring me that
That's
horizon.
so good.
It's really good. That's where Bring Me got their name from.
I love it.
Anyway,
That's
that being
insane.
said, we're gonna wrap up. We're gonna watch Phantom Menace, the best Star Wars movie ever. I'm just kidding.
He's not.
Well,
not.
you have Jar Jar over my head. And
Next week, next
we'll
week,
discuss
yeah.
this
Next
next week.
so we're gonna watch Phantom Menace.
This is our first Star Wars for this podcast.
Right,
What a
it's-
seminal moment
As much
for
as
you.
we've talked about it.
When
yeah.
does this come out? This episode?
May-
May 3rd? No.
6th.
Anyway,
Nope.
if it's still in
second.
if it's still in theaters, go watch it in theaters. I've seen it in theaters with you actually. Before we were dating, when we
Really?
were children, we watched the 3D 10th year anniversary in
I don't-
3D.
think that was me.
Pretty sure.
We went to Toy Story.
Shit, we went to Toy Story.
Some other girl. It was some other girl.
I'm pretty sure I went with my family actually to see. But I have the Darth Maul 3D glasses
I
somewhere
wish
in a
it was
box.
me.
No, we went and saw
Nice.
Toy Story.
Yeah.
We did go see
In
Toy Story
3D,
together.
probably.
As young people.
Yeah, 1 and 2 before 3 came out. Anyway,
I wanted to say young lads.
No,
but I'm
you know
a girl.
what? I went with Brandon. Shout out to Brandon. So
Me and Brandon are hard to confuse.
yeah, no, you look the same.
We're very
so, no,
similar.
I'm just kidding. So I've seen it in theaters in 3D where there were 2 3D gimmicks and they were dumb. But on the big screen, Duel of the Fates. Go watch Phantom Menace in theaters.
It'd be worth it just for that.
Check back with us for our Phantom Menace episode in whenever it comes out, May 6th or whatever.
Nailed
Wow.
it. Oh, wow.
All right. Now that she's deafened everybody with that.
Just everybody start piling on.
Man, I can't wait for the pod race scenes. They're so
Now
good.
this is pod racing.
It's working! It's working!
So stupid.
What a time,
The negotiations were short.
man.
saving me!
Everyone dress up as their favorite Star Wars character next week.
No, I'm just going to get more tattoos. All right, people. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Follow us on TikTok before it gets deleted. The government voted today to outlaw TikTok, which is dumb. You know, instead of solving healthcare, income, the economy,
Yeah.
our conflicts and wars, Flint's water. No, let's ban the best. Let's ban the best app. Whatever, dude. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We hit 100 subs. I'm pretty excited about
Hey.
it. Small little
Yeah,
milestone for
big
our small
day.
little podcast. Follow us on Instagram. Join our Discord where we talk about food and movies and all kinds of useless crap. And yeah, Phantom Menace.
Philip Phillips.
What?
Philip Phillips.
We did
Philip
talk about
Phillips. We
Philip
talked a
Phillips.
lot about Philip Phillips today. Hey, I'm so excited for the Phantom Menace episode. We finally get to do a Star Wars, and God bless it, a Star Wars that's very near and dear to my heart. So, hey, Phantom Menace, baby. We'll catch you in the next one.